I've been putting off pulling the fairing and everything all off to change out the Tach here. I've been putting that off because it's a big job, and I've had this thing off like 3 or 4 times already. I just dread taking it off again. It's a pain. You got to undo these bolts on the side here on the forks, take the headlight housing out, and then there's 2 bolts up in here. I believe they're 1/2 inch or 7/16, 2 there, 2 here. They're nylon lock nuts. They're really hard to get at. You got to take the windshield off again, and these are a pain to get these studs back in with the clips in them. They're just a pain. They fall out. I got to try to tape them into place. You got to line them up, and there's just enough room for the 2 end ones to fit in there, you know, without them popping out. It's just a freaking pain. Got these 2 bolts here to take out for the dash. All on this year in this model. After this, they changed it. They put all the relays under that side cover there, and under the left side cover. But on this one, 1990, I don't know about 89, maybe it's the same. All the relays are sitting right in here, attached to the back of the speedometer and the tachometer. And it's a pain. When I bought this bike, this was all apart. Everything was all off, and there was one blue and, I think it's a blue and white wire with an eyelet on it that looks like it goes to one of those relays, but it's not in any of the wiring diagrams that I can find. I don't know what it does. But I'm going to try to get that Tach fixed. And now my starter relay, my starter button is screwing up again. I know this button works because when I push it, it's engaging the relay down here. It's click, click, click. But I'm not getting 12 volts. There isn't 12 volts going down there. So that's the brown wire. I even soldered on an all new connector to that relay down there, because the old ones are pretty, they get white and they get corroded a little bit, and they weren't crimping properly. So I just put a whole new one on there. But when I hit this button, I'm not getting 12 volts down there. It's got like a 1/2 volt. Well, the power for that relay is up here at this breaker. And I believe it's the first one on this side, the accessory one. So I got to take this apart anyways, and see what's going on there and figure it out, because the wiring diagram in the manual doesn't show that wire. So anyways, that's tomorrow's project. Okay, this is going to be video 2 on the dreaded click. I did a video a couple weeks ago on this, and it was the bad ground. This bad ground right down here, which is the black wire. Here, I've put on a whole new connector in here, so it's got a yellow wire on it now. But that's the ground. And that worked fine for a couple weeks, and then it started to click again. So now it just clicks. You know, that's why I put this bypass button in here for now. So there's 2 wires in here that are the tan ones. The one tan colored wire goes right to the starter main power, or right to the starter solenoid down here, and this activates the cell. You need 12 volts right here. I can run 12 volts from the battery, click this, and it starts right up. So the starter motor's fine. You can jump 12 volts right off this this main power from the battery right here to that, starts fine. So I'm checking for 12 volts on here. Before I was only getting like 5 or 6 volts because it was a bad ground. Fixed the ground, I had 12 volts, started fine. Now I'm putting a voltmeter on here and I'm getting nothing. So I unplug this, I'm getting nothing. And it's getting 12 volts from this center one right in here. This is the other brown wire right here, and that goes into the main harness. This 30 amp, where's my camera here? This 30 amp breaker here is your main breaker for all your power to the bike that runs up to all the breakers in the batwing and the fairing. So this one with the yellow, this is your main power wire, and it runs right over to the positive on your starter motor right there. That's so it gets direct power, which is directly from the battery, right to this main breaker. So then power is fed back through the breakers in the fairing, back to the switch through this brown wire is one of the wires. This is the main one I need here, is this brown wire. I'm getting like 1/2 volt. When I hit the starter button, it just drops down to 1/2 volt. So I got an issue with that breaker up in that fairing. That's why I'm tearing that apart. And we're going to see what we're going to find in there. So I probably could have left the original plug on here, but I did cut off that one for the ground, and they were older connections, so I got a fresh new connections on there. They're all soldered, heat shrunk in there. Wish they were a little heavier gauge wire though. But okay, let's pull the bat wing off, and I'm going to fix the tach at the same time. I just put this windshield on too a month ago. Back, get that in a minute. I got a couple dishes I gotta grab. Put these in. There. I think I lost one already. 3, 4. Yeah, I heard one fall. There it is. 5. So these are held in with little spring clips in here, kind of like the old cars from the 70s with all the chrome trim with the little clips in them, and I put tape in to hold them in place because they're so hard to line up. Okay, put that there. Windshield, which needs to be cleaned. Now, I got to cover up the front fender. The normal windscreen, the stock one, has an extra screw in here underneath on either side, but that aftermarket one doesn't have that. I've got it here. So I got to take off these 4 big bolts right here, the headlight, and I got to cover up the front fender when I do this. So let's go there. 1 screw at the bottom here. Now there's 3 screws that hold the bulb in, but I've got to take out the whole thing to get in there, so I think I'm just going to leave it in there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave. I don't think I have to do that. I'll just take it apart as one assembly. I think I can. These screws tend to get stripped out. They go into a grommet. This is that new ceramic receptacle I put in there. Stops from overheating because I put in a much bigger wattage bulb, 90-130, I think it is. There. See, those screws go into like these little rubber grommets in here, and they tend to get stripped out. Oh, get back on track here. Well, there's 4 bolts in here, 2 here and 2 here. The studs are molded right into the bat wing, and they're a nylon lock nut. They're, I think it's 7/16. 7/16. I find it easier if you use a little 1/4 inch set to get in there, because you can only take short little swings because of all the wiring. And you don't have to take them all the way off. It's easier though if you take them all the way off, because they slide into a slot. The inside two are not too bad. Okay, that's just about all the way off. There's another one way back in here. It's really hard to get at. It's just by feel. There's your breakers right there. This is, I could probably fix and replace that one right there. I could probably replace all of them right like this here. But I got to get at the tachometer, so I'm going to take it right off. So. Okay, I'll get back at you when I got these 4. There's 2 more over here. Got those 4 loosened off. Now you got to take off these 2. Oh, I got to cover up this fender. Put this on the fender here, because this is going to drop down on the fender. There's 4 of these 1/2 inch bolts. Could have probably left the top one in, it's slotted. 2 more over here. Should come off, I think. It's an aftermarket chrome piece of shit, that thing. But it covers up the aluminum. So you just loosen them off. But I know from experience, taking them off, putting it back together sure makes it a lot easier. Okay. There's the breakers down here. Just going to cut this twist tie out of there. I'm pretty sure it's this one here, the far right one, that's giving me problems. I don't know how they're held in there. I'm going to figure that out. You can see they're all, you can see very well from there, but they're all covered in dust and dirt and everything. I'm going to take each one apart, sand down the wires, clean them all up, reinstall them. I'm going to replace that first one. I couldn't find any 15 amp breakers anywhere, but I found a 20. Everybody sells 30 amps, but not many 15s. And none of the new vehicles today use that, so they're kind of getting obsolete. I'd sure like to take that off though. That whole thing. I don't know how they're held in there. Okay, so first thing is though, I'm going to check for power there. Now there is some grounds up in here I remember seeing. I should check for, first I'll just check for ground here. And there's the, I think that's the main red wire right here. From the main relay, I'm pretty sure that's it right there. Now, turn the ignition on. I'm getting no power at that first relay, and I know I checked all of this. I might even have it in one of my videos that I had power at every one of these before. I do not have power there. This is going to be my problem. This is the number 5 relay, and it's supposed to be for the accessories. Somehow they call a starter motor an accessory. I don't get that, but okay, that's my problem right there. Sure I got everything. Okay, you're on. My other test light just went, brand new fucking test light, just probably from China. Anyways, here I'm going. I'm going to test for hydro on these. I got the key on. And now I'm getting power here on this last one. This is the accessory one. So watch what happens. I'm going to put the power on here. I'm going to hit the power, the starter. No voltage. Go to this one. This one. It's this one here. So you put any kind of load on it at all, it's not working. Okay, we figured out how to get it off. I don't know if you can see that, but these are just kind of pressed in there. You can get a screwdriver in underneath the little carriage that's in there and give it a little twist. Pops out. Now that's the brown wire that goes right to that relay, and I wasn't getting voltage there. Now these just may be all dirty, corroded, or it could be this breaker. So I'm gonna test this here. Where's my test light? I did have a good ground. Where was it? Oh, this thing here. That's a ground. There we go. Got that on there. Well, that's my brown leaving. Let me figure that out. Okay, I've been screwing around with this for a while, trying to trace the wiring back and forth, going to the wiring diagrams in the original Harley manual, and actually blow them up on my screen on my computer so you can trace the wires, because it's so small in here, you can't do it. Like it's you know, I can zoom right in with my camera and it's easier, so I zoom in on the computer. So this is weird. Okay, so you got all your breakers here, and the very first one is your main power breaker from your battery, and from here it goes to your ignition switch, and then from there it feeds your accessories, and that's what feeds the tan wire on this last one here. No. The orange one, just wait. I gotta get this straight in my head here. This orange one right here is your main feed for this relay. It's a little heavier gauge wire. And when I was hitting the starter button and I'd put a test light on the brown wires and all that, it would just go out. So bad connection somewhere. So then I'm going up here. You know, I trace the power in here and everything. Everything looks good there. And okay, I'll check the orange wire. So I just unplugged the orange wire here to see if this one goes to the relay or if this one goes to the relay, which is the hot one. So I put my test light in. This is the hot one. So this is the one coming right from the ignition switch. And this one goes down, like with this wire, the brown and orange wire go into that harness right there, brown and orange wire. There's the red one that feeds to the ignition. And no, this one goes to the start. This one goes to the relay, or goes to the stator, voltage regulator, sorry. So okay, this brown orange wire, come up here. I tested for power here, tested for power here, no power. So then I plugged it back in, and all of a sudden everything works. Starter button works, everything works. So I don't know if you can see in there, but those are both pretty oxidized. You can see how white it is and oxidized that is. I think that might be my problem right there, just a loose connection in there. I was turning this thing before, trying to make sure it got a good connection, but I think turning the plastic does nothing. Yeah, it does nothing. That's what I was doing. I was turning it, because I wondered about that connection. So I think I'm going to cut this off, put a male and female blade in there, and see what that does. But that's your main power from your ignition, and that's corroded in there. That's not good, because all of a sudden it works when I plug that back in. Okay, let me solder those, or put some connectors on there. Okay, I put some new connectors on there. Put the female on the hot side. I think I got that in there. What did I miss? I don't know. Pretty sure that's in there. Nice and tight. I got the relay hooked back up. Wow, it's working now anyways. I don't know what more I can do. So I'll put my test light back on here and see if it cuts out when I hit the start. Well, it can't. Everything's working now. I think that was my problem. Where's my ground? This little baby here's a ground. And turn this on. That's working. I Okay, I think that's it. As soon as I took that apart and plugged it in, everything started working, so I gotta go with that. I'm gonna go get a bulb for this if I can find one. Either that, I'm gonna, those little bulbs are so hard to find. If I can't find one, I might convert this to a standard bulb. I'm gonna remove the gauges. There's 4 screws here and here. There's a spacer in behind. So you gotta catch them as they fall out. Okay. That holds this metal bracket in here. Undo the tack. Trying to leave that rubber behind there. Nope. Keep this rubber seal in place. All right. Okay. Now I'll get the new one out here. Found it. It's an original HD tachometer. There's a dealer there, I think it was Tilsonburg, that went out of business a few years ago. And he's selling his old stock out of his house. And he had one of these. Pretty sure that's the same one. Looks identical. So it looks like there's 3 screws that go onto here. Which is these 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on, come on, come on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna get my Phillips screwdriver. I got a small and I got a large. Orange on the bottom. I'm trying to do it with my left hand because of the camera. Maybe I'll switch here. Orange here. So I don't know if this tack ever worked. Because when I got the bike, it didn't have ignition. I had to put a new ignition module in. And so I never knew if this thing worked before or after. If it worked before, then it would say that ignition module was the culprit. Okay, so pink is top right. And I gotta undo these 2 bolts here to get at that one. Oh, I also gotta replace the bulb in there. I gotta remember that in the oil pressure or voltmeter. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 4 more screws to undo here. 5/16. One. Oh. I might be able to get by just loosening this off. Yeah, I think I can get at it from here. Maybe, maybe not. I just don't want to cut all the wire ties in here and have to fish them back in again. Okay, black is top left. Black, orange, pink. Orange on the bottom. There's 4 Phillips screws here. They look the same. Just identical. Yeah. Looks like there's 2 screws that hold that in. Let me look at the new one. Yeah, 2 mounting screws in here it looks like. Should come out. You're gonna clean up these connections as well too. This one looks pretty corroded. And that's the one right from the igniter pickup. Yeah, I always looked to see, you know, it'd be nice to see a flaw or something burnt. Just this connection's right in here on that says to ignition right there. That looks kind of melted in there. There's no other spot like that. It looks burnt right here. Right here it looks burnt. All right, let's put this back in there. Another. In there. I'm gonna sand these down, clean them up. Okay, I got these 3 wires back in. There, they're all cleaned up back in. Put this back on before I screw it up. It's hot here today, man. Humidity's got to be crazy. Probably 100 degrees with the humidity, or close to it. My shirt's soaked. The needle's pretty bright orange compared to the old one, 30-year-old one on the Speedo. I guess these Tachs retail for 176 bucks or something, 180 bucks Canadian plus tax. And he sold it to me for 120 plus he included the center console part too, which I don't need. And no tax. Okay, that's ready to go back in. Just keep this rubber in place. I need a little bit of glue on there to hold that there. Oh, I gotta put all these nuts back on here. Okay. Now, the tricky part, getting this to stay back in there. Get the spacers in. Okay. Start with this one here. I'm gonna get this snugged up before that rubber falls down in there. There we go, that should hold it in there. I don't know how I'm supposed to hold that, I don't know. That's impossible. That's impossible. Loosen this one off. Wow. I don't know how, I can't get my hand in there. I'm gonna drop it. just a juggling act. That's what I was afraid of. Now, time for the magnet. Should have thought of this before. Just put it on the magnet. I think I got it. Yes, sir. Okay, let's tighten those four up. Okay. You also fix the bulb too in here. I know the bulb is no good. Oh, that's a weird bulb. Oh, it just comes out of the end here. A little tiny wee bulb like that. Hopefully Harley's got one. I'm gonna go get one. Okay, let's see if the Tach's gonna work. Okay, we're started up. Check the Tach. I noticed all my lights are a little brighter now too. Wow. Just need the light bulb, a rare little light bulb. There's a lot of, you see a lot of blanks in here, and some of these were for the CB radio or headsets. A bunch of different accessories. There's this plug, there's another one here, but they were for accessories. Okay. I don't know where that goes. Maybe I'll put it under there. This goes to ground. And I know this thing isn't grounded, but I don't see any other place for it. That's just the way I got the bike. That one was off, and this blue and white one was off. I have no idea where this blue and white one goes. It's not on any wiring diagram that I can find. So we'll just tuck that up there out of the way. See, here's a plug in here. This goes to like a CB radio or an intercom set. And that's where some of these wires go to. That's all taped off. Okay, I'm gonna call, see if I can get that bulb. Their phone's been busy, so I'll try calling again.